Personality type and academic performance in remote learning. The purpose of this experiment is to research how personality impacts GPA when students are going through remote learning. Personality will determine how well a student has adapted to the changes of switching from in-person to remote learning. Depending on the outcome of how students perform, it might change how the education system will work once the pandemic is over. If students tend to do well during remote learning, schools might then give an option to either attend in-person or stay at home and continue remote learning. If students' personality types are introverts, sensors, thinkers, and perceivers, then they will have a better performance in remote learning. There are four groups that each contain two letters: I, E, S, N, T, F, and JP. You can break down each letter used to label each personality into introverts or extroverts, sensing or intuition, thinking or feeling, and the last category, judging or perceiving. Extroverts deal mainly with people in real-world situations. They're more outgoing and approachable, while introverts deal with internalized thoughts and ideas. They're more likely to reserve and usually stick to themselves. Sensors will typically use the five senses to draw real thoughts from their observations, whereas intuitors use abstract thinking to pull out meaning and worth from what they're seeing. Thinkers have a logical approach to the world and like to make sense of things. Feelers are in touch with their feelings and use their emotions to judge the world around them. Judges feel like they have their outside life in order and organized and like to have their lives planned out. Perceivers like to adapt to their living conditions rather than planning it out. In a learning environment, extroverts prefer to work in groups where each person has their input and suggestions. Intuitors like conceptual informations but dislike facts. Thinkers prefer feedback that relate to how well their projects were, and feelers prefer if teachers awarded their efforts and personal connections to them as a student. Sensors will have an advantage if memorization and recall plays a key role in their class, but different personality letters have different natural talents, such as extroverts having an easier time with attitude managing, anxiety levels, and concentration. On the picture to the left, it's a pie chart that displays the amount of students who have a certain personality type, and on the right, you can see a bar graph showing the total amount of honors, AP, and advanced classes each personality type took. On the left, you can see how each personality either increased or decreased their unweighted GPA. And on the right, you can see how each personality type increased their GPA weighted. After analyzing the ISTP personality type, they did not come out on top. They were able to improve their GPA, but were not able to by a significant number. On the unweighted graph, they were able to place second to last in increasing their unweighted GPA. You can barely see it because there was an improvement of 0.002. They didn't place last because the INPF decreased instead of increasing their unweighted GPA. On the weighted graph, they came in 10th place, increasing their weighted GPA. The ENTJ personality type performed the best. On the unweighted graph, they came in first for improving unweighted GPA, and on the weighted graph, they came in first for improving their weighted GPA. There was a pretty decent gap between them and the personality type that came in both for weighted and unweighted. They would benefit from continuing remote learning. This research is important because we now have more information on how students will adapt to the changes from being away from social experiences and what the impact will be on their grades. We also were able to see which personality types were strongest in utilizing their already found skills in school and how well they were able to cope with tremendous changes.